All right, so we ready? That was an absolutely exhausting game. Wyoming's a good football team. Coach Bowles done a really good job. It's always hard coming on the road, and keeping that momentum going. I thought our guys did a really good job. We've talked about it a lot over the last couple of weeks, starting fast, playing focus, and making plays. We made the switch at quarterback, and really, really proud of this guy to the left of me. He did a great job of leading us. And it wasn't always pretty. Everything here, it's hard. I mean, that's part of building a program. You gotta go through the hards, and we've been through some of these overtime and come up short. So to be able to come up and get this one against a really good team is a big deal for us. It's another brick in the building process, and it's one of those deals where, it's kind of funny. Sometimes it gets frustrating because, everyone's so quick to say, oh, well, what's happening? They don't really understand building and what you need to do to get a college football program moving in the right direction. And it's staying the course. It's not listening to the outside noise. It's keeping everybody on track. First play of the game, starting corner goes out, And then later on in the game, we lose one of our defensive ends. And then later on in the game, our kicker goes out. And all of a sudden, you got to make that with a backup kicker. But you know what? I got a great group of guys in that locker room, and they fight their tails off each and every game, and it doesn't always come up in our favor. So I'm really happy for them. I'm exhausted. I want to go to sleep. But for them, I hope they have a good night and enjoy it and not too much.
When everyone gets past the craziness of all the numbers and everything,
Yeah.
and you talked about the ability to run for 401 yards. And in the past, when we have been less physical, you've actually said that, but today you actually made a real message. You were the more physical team up front.
Well, we talked about that for 2 weeks, and we felt like to give this guy an opportunity to be able to sit back and throw the ball and make some plays. We're going to have to be able to run the football. And when I look, and they're one of the better running teams, for our defense to hold them to 151, it's a big deal. And for us I just saw that 401 yards. That's a huge, huge deal to be able to run for 401 yards against a team like that. And again, it's just staying the course. It's going back to work. It's having a bye week and using it the right way and getting everybody fresh and healthy. And nobody, the whole year, no one's pointing fingers. No one's gotten down. They've all just kept believing and fighting, and they know what's coming. And obviously we all want it to happen a lot faster. But today's it's a big day.
And when you have a kid like who, I don't know if he's gotten lost in the depth chart or whatever, but for Campbell to show up today like he did, like last year was Lex and Axe, and this year he kind of went away with the freshman. Can you talk about him? Because he really stepped up.
Yeah, again, another guy we're proud of, and it just goes to show, it's easy for a guy like that to be down in the dumps and to not be able to come. And then all of a sudden you got Lex, and, he was a lot more hurt than people thought, So, he doesn't play today. And then you got Charles Williams, who's banged up, and you kind of saw that. He had spurts, and he's a little banged up. And so X knew he was going to get the rock today, and he did a great job with it. But you know what? That just shows the kind of character that these kids have, because it's real easy when you get into week 10 or whatever this is, to kind of not be there mentally because you haven't gotten the opportunities that you wanted, So for him to stay focused and go out and to play the way he did today, to break the tackles, get the hard yards, that just shows that, these guys are bought in and they're going to fight to the end.
How do you describe the emotional roller coaster of triple overtime game?
Your back starts to seize up, and we'd had the greatest false start penalty in the history of football. It was an emotional roller coaster. It's one of those deals where you're just trying to make one more play than they do. You know what I'm saying? And it was, it's tough. I'd rather not be in overtime.